I know I'm late on this, been a bit busy, but finally have a little bit of free time to talk about the long-awaited new Gundam Perfect Grade. I'd say decades awaited Perfect Grade new Gundam. But now is probably the best time, if ever, to get such a model kit. Considering the Unleashed Perfect Grades are now a thing, unfortunately the turnaround time seems to be 4 to 5 years per kit. So that's kind of like the real major bummer of the whole thing. My first impressions while looking at it from the promotional photos, I gotta say this, Bandai does a terrible job of taking photos of these kits at this stage of their existence, because it doesn't really pop that much. It's clear that the Perfect Grade has taken a lot of cues from the RG New Gundam, and the RG New Gundam itself, in my personal opinion, took a lot of cues from the Infinite Dimensions 2015 Evo kit that was wildly popular, and they just sort of, took some liberties from that but kept it aesthetically Bandai. I kind of wish the legs were a little longer, the thigh section, so it had that Verka look and it'd be more slender and sleek. It kind of feels slightly bulky to me, and maybe that's just the Unleashed line in general. Even the RX-782 looked a teensy bit bulky. The hands seem to be pretty much the same hands from the last Perfect Grade Unleashed, but Bandai cared enough to at least add some fingers to recreate the finger balloon dummy distractionary weapons that were used in Char's counterattack. The fin funnels, I'd say, is an interesting design. They tried to make them more up to date, but I kind of feel like they missed the mark. There's so much more panel lining that could have been cleaner looking, and it would have had more detail. This just doesn't look that amazing to me as far as designs go. Actually, ironically, it just hit me. This design looks a lot like one from a third-party manufacturer that did fin funnels for New Gundam, and I always thought they were ugly. And now Bandai kind of recreated that look. I know I'm being a bit nitpicky, but I'm just saying, after building so many resin kits and you see these brilliant designs that aren't too over the top, and it's just that right level of elegance and mechanical accoutrement, if you will, to this, and it's kind of like the armor could have been better, but that's just a tiny thing. It also has an LED feature that it's of course sold separately because it's Bandai. But I'm happy to see it. I mean, it's been long overdue. I wonder if the fin funnel connections, which they're showing off right here, look like a variation of the Verka connections, which weren't very good. I pray that these are really heavy duty and they don't, wear and break over time, because that would really suck. Taking a closer look now, I'm realizing that the fin funnels use part formation. I'm pretty sure the connectors sort of slide in place or snap in place, and then you connect the fin funnels together, judging by these slots inside of the fin funnels themselves. And also there appears to be at least one metal etch part at the center, with most likely those shiny metallic decals that Bandai's going crazy for right now. The fin funnels still require more support from the base itself, which ironically is just the reused unicorn base. I can say I did not see that coming. I really thought Bandai would do something special for this. Maybe they've retooled the base enough to where it can support this model kit and have it in an aerial pose, which would be really cool. If not, it would be kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. At this stage, when you're paying this much for a kit, which in Japan, in USD, it's like $400, but when it gets over here, they're going to be looking for close to $700, $650, $700.
Will you excuse me, please?
I love what's going on with the beam rifle and the deployment gimmicks. Those are actually really cool. It's nice to see movable parts. The shield, not bad. There's a lot you can do here to really make it pop. The Hyper Bazooka is equipped with the sliding barrel gimmick. The interesting thing is that the bazooka comes with a support arm, which is kind of wild. Very advanced of Zeta. I don't know, it's nice to have it there. Let's just put it that way. Does it actually stay constantly connected to the bazooka, or is it like, parts formation where you have to take off a part and put it in? I don't know yet. I can't really tell. I almost thought that they had fiber braid lines for the back of the legs, but I'm pretty sure it's probably just a chrome plated part. I would most likely strip that and paint it red or something. Manufacturers suggest retail price of 66,000 yen including 10% tax. Oof, 10%. It's almost like New York. Scheduled to release in general stores nationwide. So this is coming out in January, I think, for America, or is it coming out in January for Japan? Either or, you know, it's going to be a tough one to get. I don't care what happens. I'm pretty sure scalpers will get their hands all over it. Everyone's going to want this thing. And it's surprisingly expensive, you know, for a model kit, but here we are, man. But I'm currently on Yoshi's Twitter page, who went to the event to actually look at this thing. And even when it's on its knees, it's half the size of the previous Gundam Unleashed. So that's a good sign. Hopefully this thing is accurate to size for 1/60th scale, because if so, the new Gundam towers over the original Gundam. And after seeing this, you know, if Bandai is going to repeat itself like it did with the Verka new Gundam, Sasabi's got to be next. There's no way you're going to put out the new Gundam and not do Sasabi. It would be such a mismark, dude. Oh, could you imagine if they do Sinanju as a perfect grade Unleashed? It would be delicious and insanely expensive. But I'm going through the photos on Yoshi's page, and it gives you way more of an idea of what we're dealing with here. And when I look at it here, the design grows on me. It's very aggressive, which I like. I feel the new Gundam should have an aggressive energy about it. The hands don't seem too oversized with the new Gundams. That's a good thing. I always felt the hand design was too big for the RX-78, but it still has that troublesome gap in between the fingers. So if anything, personally, if time allows, I would most likely seal that up to make it cleaner, and then I would, you know, hand paint in gray accents rather than the chrome, because I think, you know, the chrome is just overused. It should be in certain areas, because this is a machine of war. You don't even see an F-35 with chrome accents. The detail in the shoulder joint in between the chest plate and the shoulder armor shows a lot of potential here. This thing must look insane. And Bandai would have to knock this out of the park, because it's gotten to the point of where third-party China manufacturers are coming up with basically tiny perfect grade Unleashed that are nothing short of impressive. So Bandai really has to step up their game here. Yeah, this thing looks pretty legit. I just don't care for the fin funnels. I like the pose for Amuro. Oh, there's so much detail on the Amuro pilot figure that you could actually almost paint in eyes on him. This is going to be difficult to get that inner collar painted. You have to have hands of a surgeon not to screw that up. It would have been nice if they also gave you Amuro in his spacesuit, but you know, you'll probably get that in the cockpit, which I would assume that's going to be an LED thing too. I'm just like all over the place with this. This could be an incredibly long video of me talking about this suit in general. There's a lot I would change here. Like you could tell on this picture of the legs, the leg armor isn't bad. I don't dislike it, but right there in the circular area of the knee area, I don't even know what we call that. That's probably that reflective, stupid metal sticker. It looks goofy. Like I would paint over that completely. It doesn't translate too well in my opinion, but everything else is looking kind of tight. The bazooka, there's not much you could do with that design. The beam rifle, you know, looks good, likable, has gimmicks. That's a plus. I mean, this thing is literally $300 off of Metal Structure New Gundam, which if you never opened it, you could probably flip that for $2,000 or $3,000. Whereas to this thing, it's never going to appreciate in value, because Bandai will be printing these to the day you die. Now they're showing off the kneeling gimmick, which, you know, for me, I don't really care about a kneeling gimmick from New Gundam, because why would I put him in a kneeling pose? But I guess it's to show off what it could do. And this is obviously one of the prototypes, because it looks like it's 3D printed. There's a lot of detail here. So it's probably going to be just absolutely badass. But if you try to paint the entire thing like I did the last Perfect Grade Unleashed, oh my god, you could truly lose your mind on that. There's so many tiny details and nuances. Oh my god, I remember I spent days just on the inner frame. And I know I'll do it again with this. because New Gundam is, my favorite mobile suit. So I tend to want to go all out on that one. Whereas the other model kits, I look at them and go, I'm not going to waste my time on this. Get out of here. So that's kind of it. Like, oh, and Bandai also showed off the Lupus Rex, I believe. Or is it the Barbatos Lupus? Looking good, even though there's only one photo. Most likely new mold for the arms. The forearms are longer, obviously. A change in the thigh and leg area and the feet. So it's probably like 70% the original kit. The fact it took Bandai this long to make this happen kind of is crazy. Oh, and they were showing off the Wing Gundam because it's the 30th or 35th anniversary of Gundam Wing. So there's that. Looks really good. Yeah, it looks pretty. It's awesome, actually, for such a tiny model kit. Bandai's come so far. To think that these kits exist with so much detail at that scale is wild. And you might sit there and go, well, why doesn't Bandai do this for the 1/100 scale? Like, I don't know, dude. I think the truth of the matter is Bandai's most popular model kits, or the ones that sell the most, are 1/144 scale. It's just kind of like the belly of the beast. It's probably why we get like 4 or 5 RGs in a year, or like 2 years, and you need to get a perfect grade once every 5 years, which is painful, dude. Absolutely painful, bro. I mean, Bandai could have totally taken the RX 782 and they could have made the full armor Gundam from Gundam Thunderbolt. People would have went bazonkers for it. They would have bought it up. Like, you could have done the Easy 8 with that. It shares the same chassis as the RX 79 ground Gundam, bro. Like, there's so many possibilities. The fact that resin model kit makers haven't taken that and turned it into something else is also wild to me. But maybe it's just too much work, and ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, well, I need to get out of here. It's time for bed, dude. I had to try and get one of these in, my guy, before I sleep and wake up and work on the main channel. Gun tank build video coming very soon. I just got to finish off doing a review of a resin printer, and then I can finish gun tank and get back to building Gundams.